TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
This is the Mistress Carrie Situation Report for February 16th, 2024. Your daily entertainment headlines, industry info, and everything rock. New releases out today include Be Right Here from Blackberry Smoke, Skin in the Game from the Immediate Family, Hole in My Head from Laura Jane Grace, and Show No Mercy, the 40th anniversary edition from Slayer. Speaking of new releases, April 20th is Record Store Day. Dave Grohl joined Anthrax's Charlie Benante and Scott Ian to cover Bad Brains' The Regulator from their self-titled 1982 debut album. The rendition is a Record Store Day exclusive with only 3,000 copies being pressed. All proceeds will go towards the health care for Bad Brains frontman HR, who suffers from an excruciating type of rare headache known as SUNCT. In 2017, HR underwent brain surgery to try and alleviate the pain from SUNCT. The procedure not only left him in debt, but forced the cancellation of his 2023 tour, exacerbating his financial situation. The Rolling Stones are set to release Live at the Racket NYC, featuring songs from their recently released album, Hackney Diamonds. And the estate of David Bowie will put forth Waiting in the Sky Before the Starman Came to Earth, a collection that includes all of the songs from The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and Spiders from Mars. The Talking Heads are releasing Live at COZ 77, a 1977 performance that has thus far been unreleased. The 1977 performance was recorded at the Massachusetts radio station WCOZ. The release features 14 songs from a live set from November of 77. Previously, part of the show was released in their 1983 live album. The name of this band is Talking Heads. The new release was sourced from the original 2-track tapes and is cut at 45 RPM to optimize audio fidelity. Record Store Day will also bring the release of Dead by Sunrise Out of Ashes, the band fronted by Linkin Park singer Chester Bennington. There is also a first ever vinyl variant of Team Sleep's Soul album, the side project of Deftones' Chino Moreno. Releases are also expected from At the Gates, Poppy, Corey Taylor, Mudhoney, Sevendust, Enslaved, and 3 solo Beatles catalogs from George Harrison, Ringo Starr, and John Lennon. The Doors, The Cure, Fleetwood Mac, Parliament, and the Black Crowes are also expected to be releasing limited edition vinyls for Record Store Day. Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys is reportedly suffering from dementia, and the 81-year-old musician is no longer able to care for himself, according to newly filed court documents. Following the passing of his wife and longtime manager, Melinda Ledbetter, the musician's longtime representatives have petitioned the court to appoint them as co-conservators. In a recent interview, Clown from Slipknot has revealed that a new Slipknot album is in the works. He also offered a promise that the band's long-shelved Look Outside Your Window album would arrive this year. He also said he's working on a documentary to celebrate the band's 25th anniversary, and there were also plans to reissue their self-titled 1999 album. Saying, quote, "I've harvested relics from our whole career. I've just collected and collected all of it. Let's call it a documentary, but really it could be a film. I've recently signed on with some forces for it, and I'm going to get a director too. A lot of the footage has already been captured, but there is still a lot that needs to be compiled for it to be what it needs to be. So yes, there's something like that coming, and there'll be a DVD, which would be behind the scenes as well." Paul McCartney has been reunited with the bass guitar that he used on the Beatles' hits Love Me Do and She Loves You 51 years after it was stolen from the back of a van in London. The Hofner bass was found in the attic of a man in Sussex thanks to a search by a project called The Lost Bass. McCartney bought the guitar in 1961. It was taken in West London in 1972. A spokesperson for the former Beatle said he was incredibly grateful for its return. DragonForce have shared a power metal makeover of Taylor Swift's song Wildest Dreams, named Wildest Dreams DragonForce's version. The cover is included as a bonus track on select editions of their upcoming album, Warp Speed Warriors, which gets released on March 15th. Avenged Sevenfold and Four Sons Brewing have teamed up for another beer collaboration. The director of operations for Four Sons Brewing said both our brewery and the band are Huntington Beach based. The brewery recently released a second version of the Life is But a Dream beer, a West Coast DIPA brewed with Citra, Mosaic, and Talus hops, and also named after the band's 8th studio album, which came out last year. 28-year-old Jacob Noel, the son of Bradley Noel, lead singer from Sublime, said, quote, "Addiction is a family disease. Rock and roll is a family disease. I seek to keep it in the family." Jacob Noel is set to take over being the frontman of his late father's band, saying, quote, "I look at it like a custodial role. I'm not Sublime. My uncles, Bud and Eric, are Sublime. My dad never got to step on that stage. My dad never got to sing those songs in front of an audience that big at Coachella of people who adore him and his sound and his message." A Sublime biopic is in the works with Ozark creator and former Rolling Stone writer Chris Mundy. Jacob Noel said, "I just don't want the movie to be cringy. I think there's a kissing scene with my mom's character, so that will be a little too Oedipal," he said. Speaking of biopics, Ridley Scott is reportedly in talks to helm an upcoming biopic based on the BeeGees. According to Deadline Hollywood, anonymous sources close to the project told the outlet that Scott is currently in negotiations with Paramount Pictures to lead its upcoming biopic based on the group. Barry Gibb, the last surviving BeeGees brother and member, is set to executive produce. The second half of Night Verse's double album is set to be released later this year with a guest appearance from Brandon Boyd of Incubus, who's singing on a track called Glitching Prisms. And that's your sit rep. For more details on all of the stories, check the links in the show notes of this episode. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie Podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday. Episode 193, featuring Jack Collins from Dead Poets Society, is available now.
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.